My name is Jill Carter, and my mom demanded that I serve my sister, so I used it to ruin their lives. It all started when I was 9 at our first big family party in the backyard. Mom grabbed my arm and said, "Go serve your sister, fetch her drinks, fix her plate, make sure she's happy." It shows how dedicated we are as a family. She filmed me running around like a maid while everyone laughed, posting it for her new online campaign about family support. That video got her first donations, and by the time I was 30, I was still doing it all: cooking, cleaning, handling everything for my sister and the cousin she brought in to keep the image going. I didn't realize back then how it was building her empire. She'd pull in $150,000 from that first wave of donors saying it was for family needs, but it kept growing. The parties got bigger, the demands worse. At 30, during another family party, Mom ordered me to serve my sister again, running plates, refilling drinks, even eating scraps next to the trash can while they sat at the table. My sister smirked and said, "Hurry up, you're slowing us down." That's when something snapped. Mom was updating her post about the sacrifices we make, ignoring me completely. I decided right there if she wanted me to give everything I do it my way, and they'd pay for it. If you've dealt with family drama like this, hit like and subscribe for more stories that expose the truth. To 30 years old at the grocery store aisle, Mom cornered me near the produce section and hissed, "Serve your sister, load the cart with the heavy items, grab what she points to keep her satisfied." It shows our family unity for the donors. I hauled the bags of rice and cases of water while Leah lounged against the cart, barking orders for organic fruits and premium snacks. Shoppers glanced over as I strained under the weight, sweat beading on my forehead, and she snapped if I missed an item. When we paused for a quick bite from the deli, she claimed the only available seat, leaving me to perch on the edge next to the overflowing trash can, bits of discarded packaging sticking to my shoes. Leah locked eyes with me and sneered, "You're always dragging Mom favors you more with the easy tasks, but I deserve priority as the older one." Her jealousy flared, that ongoing competition where she'd belittle my job or choices, insisting her social outings trumped my responsibilities. The argument heated up right there among the shelves, her voice echoing as she accused me of slacking to make her look bad, drawing stares from nearby customers. I clenched my jaw, palms sweaty on the cart handle, the accumulated bitterness from years of her digs surging through me. Back at the house, Mom positioned Leah in the brightly lit kitchen and directed her through the thank you routine for the upcoming video post. "Deliver it sincerely. Thank you for believing in our family values. Your generosity changes lives." Leah rehearsed multiple takes, her expression polished and grateful, while Mom adjusted the camera angle to capture the opulent countertops in the background. I lingered in the hallway unnoticed, as always observing their synchronized act that lured in more contributions. That night, I caught Mom reviewing her accounts on the laptop, approving a luxury handbag purchase for $4,000, drawn from the campaign pool she labeled as household support. Peeking at the statements, I saw the $8,000 monthly subsidies diverted to her personal expenses not shared with us. She'd splurged on high-end jewelry and salon visits totaling tens of thousands over months, while I covered the basics from my salary. The realization fueled my anger. I'd comply with her commands but twist them to compile irrefutable proof that would dismantle their setup. Over the following days, Leah's envy surfaced in petty ways. She'd rearrange my schedule to conflict with work, then mock how I couldn't juggle like she did. Mom dismissed it as harmless teasing, reinforcing the dynamic for her online narrative. I played along but snapped discreet photos of the extravagant deliveries arriving at the door. By midweek, Mom's latest update went viral, raking in $15,000 from sympathetic viewers who assumed it aided our struggles. Unbeknownst to them, it padded her wardrobe fund. As tensions built, Leah messaged me late one evening demanding I prepare her late-night meal, adding, "You owe me for all the times Mom let you off easy." I complied without argument but with renewed purpose. The next morning, Mom boasted about a upcoming gala ticket costing $3,000 paid from recent inflows. Lying in bed that night, I reviewed my growing file of screenshots and logs, knowing this evidence would expose their charade. The next morning, I began to take action by getting Leah dressed in one of her designer outfits and driving her to my office in the financial district where I handled data entry and client correspondence as an administrator. She complained throughout the commute about how my sedan lacked the comfort of her luxury coupe that Mom had bought her last birthday. Upon arriving, I led her to the common area and told my coworker Tom, "This is Leah. My sister Mom requires me to manage her requirements, even here. It's our family tradition." Tom gave a confused smile as Leah right away asked for a spot at my desk, then told me to bring her the morning reports to review for her own amusement. The receptionist overheard and raised an eyebrow when Leah followed up by requesting I reorder the office supplies to include her preferred brand of notebooks. As the workday started, Leah had me shuttling between floors to retrieve documents from the archive room and set up a temporary workstation for her with extra monitors from storage. My department head stopped by my cubicle to inquire about the unusual visitor, and I explained it as the standard arrangement at home, with me always prioritizing her convenience. Leah interjected with a grin. "She's efficient at this. Helps me stay ahead while she catches up." The hours ticked by as she continued to summon me for minor adjustments like refilling her water bottle or printing emails from her phone, causing whispers among the staff about the odd dynamic. At lunchtime, I stepped out to the warehouse club store a few blocks away, charging Mom's black card for bulk household goods like imported cleaning products and high thread count towels amounting to $6,000, things she said were vital for maintaining our lifestyle. The manager at the checkout counter hesitated over the sum, noting it was an unusually large haul for an individual shopper and requesting confirmation on the card, which I provided with my own details, realizing the store would note the transaction in their logs. The itemized bill came out lengthy, and I folded it into my purse for safekeeping. When I got back, Leah was engaging with another employee about her weekend plans, highlighting how her free time allowed for travel, while I stuck to routine duties. Mom texted me soon after, thrilled to report that her fresh fundraising initiative had brought in $300,000 within the week from dedicated followers inspired by our close-knit bond. She mentioned heading to a VIP conference that night, entrusting me with the evening household management and Leah's preferences during her absence. "Keep everything running smoothly," she added in her message before signing off. With Mom gone, I dedicated the afternoon to fulfilling Leah's directives for meal prep lists and laundry sorting, all while squeezing in my pending tasks. By closing time, my arms throbbed from toting the store hauls up the stairs at home, and my mind raced with the day's toll. That night, after tidying the kitchen and folding clothes, I retreated to my notebook chronicling each event from the office encounters to the store manager's query and Mom's triumphant update. My pulse quickened at the possibility of her reviewing the bank alerts or Leah mentioning the trip casually, but I forged ahead capturing audio clips of Leah's commands and scanning receipts to bolster the dossier. The weariness weighed heavy, yet the apprehension sharpened my focus to persist in laying the groundwork without raising alarms. Leah popped in later to have me iron her blouse for tomorrow, slipping in a remark about how my basic role gave me ample opportunity for these chores, unlike her demanding commitments. I agreed quietly and proceeded, but mentally added the exchange to my entries. As midnight approached, I pored over the pages, the accumulating proof solidifying my path, despite the dread of confrontation looming if they caught on early. 3 days later, when Mom was at the event, I took charge of the household routine for Leah and the cousins visiting from out of town, beginning with sorting the mail piled on the entry table and answering calls from Mom's associates about her schedule. Leah emerged from her bedroom, expecting her clothes laid out and her breakfast smoothie blended to perfection, while the cousins needed lunches packed for their day trips. I navigated the large pantry to grab ingredients, then moved to the laundry room to start a load of their delicates, carrying armloads of towels and sheets down the hallway. Leah hovered nearby, critiquing my choices of detergent and fabric softener, insisting on the expensive brands Mom preferred for the family's image. The day unfolded with me, vacuuming the formal dining room and polishing the silverware for an upcoming dinner, as Leah directed from the sofa with suggestions on how to arrange the china cabinet better. One cousin requested assistance with booking flights online, so I sat at the computer helping navigate the site only for Leah to interrupt with a call for me to refill her glass from the filtered water dispenser. The requests piled up, from dusting the bookshelves to organizing the garage storage, and by mid-afternoon Leah confronted me in the foyer over a misplaced pair of her shoes, turning it into a sharp debate where she claimed I deliberately hid them to undermine her plans. Her tone escalated, accusing me of jealousy over her social circle and how Mom always trusted her more with important decisions. Her face flushed as she raised her voice in the empty house. The intensity overwhelmed me, prompting me to retreat to the guest bathroom and contact the APS line to detail the persistent pressure and family conflicts, providing specifics on the emotional toll without holding back. An APS coordinator arranged a prompt visit to the local branch office the following hour, where Nina reviewed my account and disclosed that our household qualified for $8,000 monthly in subsidies designated as Family Assistance Grants, pulled from state records. She queried on the spot. She pointed out how these payments appeared routed through Mom's accounts, raising red flags on potential misuse in well-off families like ours. Nina emphasized that such funds aim to ease genuine burdens, but often got diverted in cases of internal control. Not long after Dad David phoned my mobile, his voice steady as he consented to forward scanned copies of divorce documents from years ago that highlighted Mom's history of shifting funds to favor her side during the split. He described key sections showing asset transfers and disputed expenses, offering to attach bank summaries from that period to illustrate the pattern. The peak moment arrived when Nina informed me they were initiating an official inquiry, citing my report and the subsidy anomalies as sufficient cause to proceed with interviews and financial checks. A wave of optimism washed over me at the prospect of breaking free, yet anxiety gripped me. Thinking of Mom's likely fury upon discovering the probe, she'd probably rally her network to portray it as a baseless attack. Nevertheless, the wheels were in motion, and I steeled myself for whatever came next. Leah messaged me during the meeting with another complaint about the house temperature, adding a dig about how I couldn't manage without her input. I replied curtly, but saved the text for reference, recognizing it as more fodder for the file. As the session wrapped, Nina handed me resources on next steps, including contact info for support groups dealing with similar situations. After the APS call, we met the staff at their downtown branch, where Nina pulled out a standard form to begin the intake interview in a quiet conference room. She listened as I described the daily pressures, then scheduled a home visit for later that day to observe the environment firsthand. Arriving at the house with her, I unlocked the front door and guided her through the expansive foyer into the kitchen, where she examined the chore charts on the fridge and the stacked dishes from last night's meal. Nina commented on the lavish setup with marble counters and stocked cabinets, and asked about the division of labor, jotting notes, as I explained how it all landed on me despite Leah's ability to contribute. She clarified that APS aimed to protect adults from emotional and financial exploitation, detailing how coercive family roles could qualify as abuse, even in wealthy settings, and outlined steps for intervention, like temporary separation orders if needed. Nina requested permission to access recent utility bills and bank overviews, which I provided from my personal files, highlighting the uneven contributions. She flagged several entries where funds seemed redirected, promising to cross-reference with public records. As the visit concluded, she advised me on safety planning, including changing locks if tensions rose and left, with a promise to follow up soon. That afternoon, Detective James arranged a secure video link to present compiled reports from earlier tips, displaying emails from the home goods store manager about the unusual $6,000 charge and statements from my office colleagues describing Leah's disruptive presence. He walked through the chronology, pointing out how these aligned with patterns of control seen in similar investigations. Shortly after Dad David forwarded an email chain with attached PDFs of the divorce decree and related financial audits, pinpointing sections where Mom had siphoned $60,000 under the guise of joint expenses, but actually spent on high-end vacations and personal memberships. He included annotations on the documents explaining how these old discrepancies mirrored the current setup and offered to testify if required. Scanning the files on my laptop, a rush of emotions hit me, relief, mixed with tears, as I absorbed that external observers had noticed the imbalance for months, shattering the loneliness I'd endured. This clarity motivated me to search online for rentals, securing a lease on a compact studio apartment in a nearby suburb that same evening, packing essentials like bedding and cookware into my trunk before dark. The transition felt immediate, dropping off the key deposit and moving in with just a few trips from the car, the space bare, but mine alone. Unpacking boxes of clothes and books, I arranged the small kitchenette and tested the locks, a sense of liberation building despite the unfamiliar quiet. That first night in the apartment, I lay on the mattress staring at the ceiling, my phone buzzing with unanswered texts from Leah about missing items back home, tempting me to call and verify if everything was handled. The urge stemmed from years of habit, but dialing risked alerting Mom to my steps, so I held off instead, pondering the broader implications of the documents I'd seen. The subsidies and campaign inflows revealed a scheme far grander than I'd imagined, with diversions potentially totaling hundreds of thousands over time, igniting a deeper awareness of the deception's depth. Rest eluded me as worries about retaliation swirled, yet the solitude reinforced my commitment to push forward. Nina emailed the next morning with preliminary findings confirming the need for further interviews and suggesting a low-cost legal aid referral. Dad called to check in, sharing more context from his records without pressure. As I navigated the new commute to work, I stopped at a cafe for coffee, reflecting on the shift and planning my next moves with cautious optimism. A week later, I met the detective again at a neutral coffee shop near the courthouse where he set up his laptop on a corner table to go over updates. He started by recommending a group therapy session through APS the following day, so I attended the virtual meeting from my apartment, logging in with a muted microphone. The facilitator outlined how prolonged emotional abuse manifests in adults, using examples of constant belittlement and forced roles that erode self-worth over decades. Participants shared stories of similar family pressures, and I contributed briefly about the ingrained habits of compliance, feeling a connection, as the discussion touched on recovery techniques, like boundary-setting exercises. The session ran for an hour, ending with assignments to journal positive affirmations, which I noted in my planner for daily practice. Returning to work part-time the next morning, I eased back into my desk with lighter hours, focusing on basic filing and email responses to avoid overload. Leah texted repeatedly about missing her usual assistants, but I ignored them to concentrate on tasks. Dad David arranged to stop by the office during lunch, bringing a folder of additional bank statements from his archives that detailed Mom's unusual transfers during their marriage. He handed me the papers over sandwiches, explaining line by line how these extra entries showed patterns of redirection for non-essential purchases, offering to email digital copies directly to the detective if requested. We talked quietly about his regrets from the divorce era, and he pledged ongoing help without expecting anything in return. James contacted me that afternoon for a follow-up call, sharing his screen to reveal audited figures from Mom's accounts, disclosing she had diverted $800,000 from the $1,500,000 raised through campaigns over the years. He listed specific expenditures like a custom Porsche at $70,000 and repeated luxury retreats costing $10,000 each, all masked as family-related costs in her filings. The numbers stunned me, confirming the scale of the misappropriation that had sustained their lifestyle while burdening me. James assured me these details strengthened the case for charges of financial exploitation and emotional endangerment, recommending I prepare for court by reviewing my logs. The climax came at the preliminary hearing in the county courthouse 2 days later, where I took the stand in a simple blouse and slacks, facing Mom across the room. The prosecutor asked me to recount the incident at the grocery store aisle, so I detailed how Mom had instructed me to fetch items for Leah while eating by the trash bin, emphasizing the public humiliation. I continued with the argument where Leah accused me of sabotage to gain favor, her words echoing the ongoing rivalry that Mom encouraged. The judge leaned forward as I presented timestamps from my notebook, matching them to bank records shown on the projector. Mom's lawyer attempted to interrupt, but the evidence mounted with witness statements from the store and office plus Dad's submitted documents. Overwhelmed by the compilation, Mom conferred with her attorney and opted for a plea guilty to reduced counts, admitting to the diversion and control tactics in a low voice that carried through the courtroom. The pinnacle of my revenge, watching their facade crumble under the weight of facts. The room fell silent as the judge accepted the plea, scheduling sentencing for the next month and ordering interim restrictions on Mom's access to funds. I stepped down with steady legs, the victory bittersweet but empowering. James shook my hand outside, noting the solid foundation for full prosecution if needed. Dad waited in the hallway, offering a nod of support without words. After the court hearing, everything changed as the judge handed down the sentence in a packed room with reporters noting every detail. Mom Carla received 10 years in state prison for financial exploitation and emotional endangerment, with the court mandating restitution of $600,000 to be paid back to the donors and the state through seized assets from her accounts. She stood there in her tailored suit, face blank, as the bailiff led her away, her appeals denied due to the flight risk assessment from her luxury travel history. The ruling also barred her from any future fundraising activities, effectively dismantling the empire she'd built on our family's facade. Leah moved out to her own condo in the city, healthy and capable as ever. But I blocked her number and all social media contacts the same day, unwilling to endure more of her competitive jabs that had poisoned our relationship for decades. She'd sent a final message blaming me for the fallout, claiming I overreacted to sibling rivalry. But I deleted it without response, focusing instead on rebuilding without the constant comparisons. The cousins scattered to their own lives, no longer tied to the household dynamics that Mom had enforced. I transitioned to full-time hours at the office, taking on more responsibilities like leading team projects and attending client meetings, which boosted my salary to $70,000 annually and gave me structure. Outside work, I joined an online advocate group against family exploitation, sharing anonymized tips on recognizing signs of control in affluent homes and attending monthly webinars to connect with others who'd escaped similar setups. The group provided resources on legal protections, and I volunteered to review case studies for their newsletter, turning my experience into something helpful. The lesson from this story is that in real life, reporting financial and emotional abuse early through APS can save you from years of burden, allowing you to reclaim independence and safeguard family assets. Don't wait until exhaustion sets in, as the U.S. legal system is equipped to assist with solid evidence. This tale highlights the value in recognizing that even wealthy families can harbor manipulation and rivalry, and self-protection is key to independent living. Thank you to all the viewers who stuck through the entire story. I appreciate your time because it spreads awareness about real family drama. Please subscribe to the channel for more content, like if this resonated with you, and comment to share your own experiences.